Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode number 17 of the podcast. It is October 26, 2020. 2020 has been a crazy year in soccer, crazy year for everything in general. It's a bunch of crazy stuff going on. I just said crazy about like 4 times right there. But yeah, thanks for tuning in for this one. We're gonna chop it up. We're gonna get the bants going. We're gonna get the soccer talk going on for you guys today. After another thrilling weekend of Premier League soccer. You know, you had the World Cup. I mean, not the World Cup. You had the Champions League matches going on, and you got Champions League matches coming up tomorrow and on the Wednesday. Pretty solid Prem weekend. Some pretty interesting results. Shocking results, some might say. How are you doing today? It's pretty windy here in Las Vegas. That's where we do film this. You know, it's been down in the 40s today. It might not even hit the 60s today, and it's almost as hot as it's gonna get today. But how have you been doing, Nick? How was your weekend gone? And since the last time we've talked on the podcast, how have you been doing?
I've been doing good. It's getting colder in Vegas, which is really good because the summer went into October. That's crazy. I'm used to it being hot, but I'm not used to it being like 90 degrees in the middle of October. But I'm glad it's windy, glad it's cold. It's weather is back, and I'm excited to just keep living, keep having fun.
Yeah, no, it's just crazy how it's gone from, as you said, being 90 to dropping down to 40 today, with winds of like 30 to 40 miles an hour. It's pretty crazy, but enough with the weather talk. Let's get into the sports action. So big news we got going on. Paul Pogba allegedly is going to be filing a lawsuit against the Sun for fake news. They're claiming that Pogba will retire from France because the French president said a recent decapitation was Islamic terrorism, just shouting out his religion, kind of just putting it on blast, If you were Pogba, how would you be feeling about this? I know it's fake news, but, how would this make you feel?
Well, if I was Pogba, I would be pissed at the media outlet, The Sun. They're known for fake news. They always have fake transfer stories. But having a fake transfer story is one thing, and, saying that someone's going to retire due to something with his religion is a whole other thing. They attacked who he is as a person, and I understand why he's pissed. I would do the same thing.
Oh, yeah, no, I would be livid, especially, I can't really relate to how he would feel about them talking that it's Islamic terrorism. I don't know how he feels about that, but I definitely knows, that he isn't happy about this fake news coming out, and it's just bullshit. The Sun has always been a joke. I've always thought of it as a joke. It's like it's like that one news thing, how the Blind Onion or something like that.
Oh yeah, The Onion.
Yeah,
it's a joke.
Dude, the fucking Onion. Yeah, it's just a joke. It's all a bunch of satire bullshit.
Yeah.
But Pogba comes out and calls this fake news and said he doesn't support any violence, just love. That's the right answer. That's the right media answer. All these players are media trained, but I'm pretty sure they all think alike in this aspect. In this aspect, at least.
Yeah, from my understanding of the situation, the president, there was a recent decapitation in Paris, in France, and the president claimed it was Islamic terrorism because the person who did do the decapitation came from an Islamic country.
Yeah.
And he said how it is in his opinion, but Pogba didn't take any offense to it. This story just came out of nowhere. Maybe he did take offense and someone leaked it. Maybe he didn't. But it just seems like the Sun's looking for clickbait and looking for views, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what they're pushing right here. They're just trying to get that clickbait from people that are like, oh shit, he really did this. That would be my first reaction if I saw this, would be, oh shit, did he really do this? And that's just really unprofessional. I know they're not known for being professional, but I think this is just one instance of, just being really out of pocket and just they're really hurting players when there's no need to, It's just unnecessary drama going on around Pogba, who's at Man U, he's kind of been pushed to the bench lately because of Ole. He's been, I guess as you've been calling it, he's been kind of punishing him over there. And I think this is just the last thing Pogba needs is something else to worry about besides how he's playing for Man U.
Yeah. Also, a lot of the media criticizes him for his performance. Now, the Sun criticized him for, they didn't criticize him, but they made a fake story that might affect fans' perception of him. And he's probably having such a messy lifestyle right now. He recovered from COVID, too. It's been a busy last few months for him, and I just wish he can get back to the soccer field and just focus on playing soccer.
Yeah, no, it's been really sad to see this, and I really hope the best of Pogba to come in the future for us. I really hope he picks up his hot form again and he's really just back in his shooting boots, back in his, just back in his mind. Um, so talking about this being a crazy weekend, there was an El Clasico. I'm gonna lie, this might have been the one El Clasico that I've I don't know if I've ever seen less hype for an El Clasico.
Yeah, never.
I don't know if I've ever seen this little hype, I mean, with Barca and Real potentially turning into Manchester United's, as much as that hurts me to say. Yeah. So Barca do lose this one, 1-3. But they lose this one 3-1 to Real Madrid. Tough game, Sergio Ramos does score a pen in this one, but that's what he's known for doing. He's known for being that scoring hybrid defender, Great guy in the back. Ansu Fati becomes the youngest goal scorer in El Clasico history. That's a big positive for Barcelona in this one, but I don't think they can really take any more positives out of this one. What do you think?
Yeah, Ansu Fati, he's possibly the only bright story Barca has this whole season, and probably the only bright story they're going to have looking into the future. He's performing, he's scoring goals, he has more goals than Messi. He's looking good. The stage isn't too big for him. And scoring against Real Madrid in El Clasico, the kid has a big set of balls on him. He doesn't feel pressure. And he's a monster, but the rest of the team, very disappointing.
Yeah, no. And he scores early on in this game in the 8th minute after Valverde does score in the 5th minute. And he makes a level. And then I think just from there on out, there's never really a chance that Barcelona was ever back in this game against Real. It's just... I wouldn't say it's a terrible performance from Barcelona. I just don't think they were able to create those big chances that they were desperately needing in this game against Madrid. It's El Clasico is supposed to be fun, but this one, it just had no hype, so it wasn't even fun for me. Griezmann still can't crack the starting 11 here in Barcelona. What's going on there? Has he just fallen out of favor? Is he gonna leave? Do you think he should leave? Is his time done? What is going on with Griezmann and Barca?
Well, at the beginning of the season, I was really excited to see Griezmann because their new manager was like, I'm going to play Griezmann in his right position. He's going to thrive under me. Messi's going to create for him. Ansu Fati's going to create for him. He's going to score goals. And then one game, he played Griezmann out of position, and Griezmann took offense to it and called out the manager and the media. And now he's not playing. And for me, it's on Griezmann. He has to battle through those lows. He has to fight for his spot. He has to prove it because ever since he left Atletico Madrid, he hasn't proved anything. He plays good for France, but... most of the time, France isn't playing. He needs to play good for Barca to keep his club career going. And I just feel like in January, if I was him, I'd force a move out to find, like, a new home.
So, like, how much of this would you put on him, Because, like, obviously that's not going to sit well with the club or the manager if you call him out, like, publicly in front of the media, So, like, how much of an effect is how much of this is on Griezmann, himself and not the coach?
Well, we all know that Barca's having a lot of problems right now with everyone in the team. Even Messi's having problems with the board. But still, I feel like Griezmann, even last year when all this noise was quiet and wasn't out to the media, he was underperforming. He's not playing well. And I feel like he is disappointed himself, and he just lashed out at the manager out of anger at himself. And he knows he needs to be better. But like you did say, there's also a lot of stuff going on at Barca that causes problems. So I would say it's like 50% his fault, 50% Barca's fault.
Yeah. And, but talking about, pretty much on the topic of transfers, because he was a transfer to Barcelona, was Messi right, about the Barcelona board and how terrible they have been and the horrible signings they've been making? They're not really been able to bring in that marquee player that's been able to make the big difference, they do have Ansu Fati, but that's a whole different story here. Was Messi right about the board being as bad as they really are?
Messi's a genius. He told everyone this before anyone realized, and now he just looks like the smart one and everyone feels bad for him because Barca, what they've been doing, they've been getting like these older players, these veterans to like try to help Messi win a Champions League. They're like in win now mentality, but they're buying people who are past their prime and who can't win now. They're like not finding the perfect balance of a veteran that's still in his prime, and Messi's just getting older and older and he can't carry younger guys as much. So instead of buying a guy like Vidal, I think Barca should have went for like a Pogba, a Conte. But they went with Vidal because he was an easy purchase. But they got him when he was too old. And I feel like those kind of transfers are pissing Messi off. And just like this past transfer window, they got Pjanic. He's not really playing that well. He's not playing that much, and it's just a waste of money, waste of a signing, and Messi just getting older by the day.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I totally agree with everything that Messi was talking about this board with the terrible signings, and a really light word to use is terrible signings and terrible businesses they've been doing. I feel like I don't want to sound like a Messi bandwagon, but like I feel like he could run this team.
Yeah,
Like I'm not trying to be out of pocket here, but like I actually think he knows how to run this team better than their manager or their board at times, because he's called them out on this. A lot of people are like, oh, Messi's out of pocket, Barcelona is still going to be as good as they were, they're still going to be good, but they're not. So like the Messi knows what he's talking about. Arguably the best player of all time, so he definitely knows what he's talking about. I feel like the board should be working with him on transfers, if I'm being honest. I feel like they should be getting input from him, because if there's one player in the world that I'm going to take input from about transfers, one of them is going to be Messi. 100%.
yeah. He needs some of that LeBron James treatment.
Exactly. If he had the LeBron James type treatment, I think Barca would be sitting pretty right now. I think they'd be doing fine. I think they would have brought in some more transfers. The whole drama between him to wanting to leave and get out of his contract, but him not being able to. I feel like that would have all gone away if he got the LeBron James treatment. I like that term. I'm gonna list that as a term of the day: LeBron James treatment. That's what Messi needs in Barcelona. If Barcelona wants to be back to where they were at least, and I'm not saying I want them to be back in a Champions League final, but it would be kind of nice to see them back in a Champions League final, and actually know that they're still one of the top teams in the world again.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said.
Yeah, and still talk about La Liga. So after this El Clasico game, and kind of even before it, Real Madrid is the favorite to win La Liga this season. I don't know if I'm that keen on them though. I'm not really afraid of them in the Champions League. I'm not really too high up on them. They only have 9 goals in 6 games in the league so far. Real Sociedad is 14-7 games so far this season. Real Madrid is technically the favorite now, but do you think they're a fluke, or are they actually legit?
In Spain, I think they're legit. I think they're the most well-rounded team in Spain. They do have a couple chokes in them because they can't score the goals, like you were mentioning. Benzema is your best attacker. They really won't cut it, especially at this stage of his career. But defensively, They are very sound. Varane, Sergio Ramos, that back line, and then Casemiro as the CDM. It's really balanced, really good. But like you were saying in the Champions League, I can't see them competing with the Bayern. I can't even see them competing with the Man City. Even Liverpool without Van Dijk, I think, could be Real Madrid. It's just they don't have that Champions League scare that Real Madrid always possesses.
Yeah, no, if I get matched up them in the Champions League, I'm feeling pretty confident. Because even watching them go down against Shakhtar, I know they had a chance to at least draw that game there at the end after what it was a callback goal, was it, from VAR?
Yeah, it was offside because the guy was obstructing the goalie's view.
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess you could say they had a chance to win that game, but, like, losing to Shakhtar, as I predicted they were going to lose to Shakhtar, so props to me for that. But still, this shows that, they're not really a threat in Europe. They're not really a threat in anywhere besides Spain. They're by far the best team in Spain, I think they're way better than Real Sociedad, but they just started the season hot. I still expect them to win the league, but don't expect them to do much more than win the league.
Yeah. Just like I was saying, Benzema is not going to cut it. They need goals to be in the Champions League. And Sergio Ramos is great, possibly one of the top 20 defenders of all time. But he's going to get at least one red card, and he's going to be suspended. And then when he doesn't play, they're screwed. Like, the whole defense, it relies on him being there because he's such a great captain. You can say anything bad about him, how dirty he is and how, cheeky he is. But he's a great captain. He, unites all the players, all his teammates. And when he's not there, there's a big difference. But you can't rely on him being there. That's the problem with him.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it just... Crazy stuff going on there. Crazy stuff going on in La Liga. So, drawing our attention away from La Liga, we're going to go to some shockers of the weekend. We got West Ham able to get a draw against Manchester City. once again on the stat sheet, Manchester City do pretty dominate this game, possession wise, shot wise, pass wise, pass accuracy wise, all that kind of stuff. They really dominate this game, but they just are not able to find. They're not able to find that other big chance, that high percentage chance besides the other goal in the game that they scored. They're just not able to get those chances. But they've been really off and on with their performances so far in the league this season. How does this make you feel about them after they're only able to get a point from West Ham?
Well, for me, I'm worried about two things when it comes to Man City. First of all, who's going to score the goals? Aguero's out again, like you mentioned earlier. Gabriel Jesus is out. And even when they're playing...
they only have 8 goals in 5 games for the league, too. So
and even when they're playing...
That's not that impressive.
When they're playing, that team doesn't look like it has the cohesion we're used to the Pep Man City team having. Something looks off. I can't really say what it is because I haven't been studying the film 100%. But just like from watching games like a normal fan of soccer, something looks off. And second of all, their defense. They're like a Real Madrid with the worst defense at this point. I don't know why they didn't buy a better striker to score goals. But they're going to have to outscore people to win games. Laporte, he's a great defender. He's always hurt. It's a big miss for them. Ruben Diaz is unproven. Ake is unproven at the big level. And they just need to solidify that defense and find someone to score goals. But I think January they have to splash the cash and buy a striker.
Yeah, no, they're going to have to splash cash if they want to be able to move up in this league. That's been blown wide open with the Virgil van Dijk injury. As much as I hate saying that blows the league open, it really does.
Yeah.
If you think about it, it really blows the league open. It really makes Liverpool super vulnerable in the back. They haven't. They're not known for their strength in the midfield. So not having a player like Van Dijk who comes into the midfield a lot to push plays forward is really a huge loss for them. And Manchester City need to get their form back if they want to finish in the top 3. Or even a top 2, like where I thought they would be at the end of the season.
Yeah, there's no reason they shouldn't win the league at this point. They have the most depth now with Van Dijk out, and they should win this league. They just need to kick it into gear and play consistently because I haven't seen them play consistent since before coronavirus.
Yeah, no. So on to the next game. Another shocker of the weekend. Arsenal at home lose 1-0 to Leicester City. Now Leicester has had a pretty solid campaign so far this year, going 4-0-2, 13 goals in 6 games. They're able to bag in the goals when they want to. They're able to defend when they want to as well. Having only allowed 8 and 6, it might not be the best defensive stats, but it's going to be good enough for the Premier League, especially for a top 8 finish like they're slated for this season, maybe even higher now. But they're able to win this game. They get the goal from Jamie Vardy. As I was saying, he was my pick for Golden Boot of the Year. I mean, not Golden Boot of the Year, but for the Golden Boot of the league this season. I still think he's gonna do it. He's even coming off the bench and bagging in the goals, so he's really just being a boost for this team. It's kind of crazy though that they were starting Harvey Barnes up top as the lone striker. But that's kind of a weird thing to me. He didn't play that great. But then he comes off. And Jamie Vardy is able to get the goal, and it gets him the point. But Leicester looking really good this season. Arsenal still looking, like a really wishy-washy team. 3 wins, 3 losses, 8 goals in 6 games. Still not able to score the ball as much. Are you scared of Arsenal finishing outside the top 6?
I'm not scared because I feel like Mikel Arteta is a good manager. And I just feel like eventually the goals will start kicking in for the team. They have way too much talent up front for it not to start kicking in eventually. But I feel like they did have a lot of new signings, and Arteta finally had an offseason to implement his mentality and philosophy on the players. But I feel like the captain, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, this is a game you need to step up in. You're the captain. You're the big money signing. You just signed a huge contract. You're paid to score goals. You got to find a goal against Leicester here somehow. That's what separates the good strikers between the great strikers. And I know he's not playing like center forward, but he's still playing as an attacker. And I feel like as the captain of Arsenal, he needs to find a way to crack the score sheet here.
He needs to, but Arsenal needs to get their form back too if they want to get that top 6, top 5 finish that they're probably hoping for and kind of expecting. But as an Arsenal fan, you can't really expect too much. But okay, Next game, we're going to go to the Southampton-Everton game, where Southampton hand Everton their first L of the season. Just a solid all-around game from Southampton. They played within themselves. They did enough. 13 total shots, 14 chances created, 6 shots on target. That's going to win you games when you can hold your opponent to 2 shots on target, Their defense was great. Midfield was great. Up and down the pitch, they were good. As an Everton fan, I'm not scared of this game, because you're going to lose some games on the road in the league. It's going to happen. Every team does it, Maybe not Liverpool or teams like that in the past, but, teams are going to lose games on the road. So I don't know if I would say this is a bad loss for Everton, but I think a negative you really do take away from this is maybe Mina isn't as consistent as you would like him to be in the back for the Toffees, and a red card for Luka Dean. That's never good. Is he's gonna be out? What? That's 3 games for a red card.
Yeah, 3 games. He's gonna be out of the Man United game in a few weeks.
Yeah. See, so and that's gonna leave that game pretty much the game for Man U to win, which they're down at 15th right now. So if they can pull off a dub against Everton, but that could shoot them up into the top 10 because of how close this league is right now in the standings. But Southampton win 2-0 against Everton. 2 assists from Danny Ings. He's been great this season so far. He was great last season. What do you take away from this game about both of these two teams?
I feel like it wasn't a bad loss on paper for Everton, but the problem with Everton the last 2 weeks is Richarlison got a red card last week. Luka Dean got one this week. They're going to be suspended for big games. Both of them are going to be out for Manchester United. And those immature red cards might cost them because those key players are both key players. 2 of their best players are going to miss key games. And Everton, they don't have that much depth. So once one of those players is out, it's kind of hard to replace them and still not lose that much quality. They lose a lot of quality by replacing them. And I just feel like they need to be smarter.
But, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. It's not a bad loss on paper, but getting that red card does kind of make it a bad loss. Because you're going to lose games. It's just you can't get red cards like that and not being as deep as they are. The other shockers of the week, this Chelsea and Manchester United game, man. That was a solid game. That was a really solid game. It was back and forth, up and down the pitch. Both teams play great defense. Outstanding goalkeeping performance by Edouard Mendy. Great game by him as he robs Rashford not once but twice. He had a one-on-one with Rashford. Rashford is not able to put it in the spot where, as a Man U fan, I was expecting him to put that top left. I was expecting that at least near the top post. Hopefully off the post, but like he did against PSG to win us that one. But as a Man U fan, Rashford needs to be scoring those. I know he's not a striker. He had to play striker in this one. Daniel James had to play in this one. That also sucks. Cavani looked really good in this one. He seems like he still has that instinct as a number 9 up top. He almost scored off that low cross. I think it was off of a corner or something. It might have been.
Yeah, it was his first touch. He almost scored.
Yeah. He almost puts that near post. If he puts that to the right, maybe a little higher. But that's in every day. But just a great performance by Mendy as he is able to keep Man United out of the out of the goal column. And what do you take from this game about a Chelsea team who at times has found some struggles in games? I think mainly because there's so many new people on the squad playing. But what do you take away from this game?
Well, I thought Edouard Mendy, the goalkeeper of Chelsea, and Thiago Silva, I thought they were great. I thought Man United's whole back line was amazing. But my biggest concerns for both teams, Havertz and Warner, they looked awful. And for Man United, Daniel James, and he doesn't look like he belongs on a soccer field, yet alone on a team of Manchester United's caliber. There's something wrong with the kid. He needs to get benched. You can't just put him in. You can't just put him in and have him play like shit. It's gonna ruin his confidence. So someone needs to sit him down and tell him to calm down and relax. Everything will be fine. Because after 5 games last season, he's been absolute ass, and he just needs to recover. And I feel like Ole should just sit him down for a few games, maybe sit him to the under 23s, and have him reset mentally.
Yeah, no, what I find is weird is that, he was taken off in the 58th minute. So he played 58 minutes in this game. And do you want to take a guess at how many passes he completed in those 58 minutes?
4.
10. But still, that's shit. Juan Mata on the other side completed 30 or 26 or something like that. Juan Mata knows how to get... He might not be the same Juan Mata as he was when he was playing at Chelsea or when he first joined Man U. But, he's still got that offensive instinct that Daniel James just lacks. He does not belong in a starting team. I don't know if he belongs in any starting 11 in England, I really, he just doesn't show any promise, But I know he shows up in cup games, but I just don't have any confidence in him starting a game, especially against Chelsea, right? But that just sucks that he has to play against Chelsea because Martial got a stupid red card.
Yeah, he has one move. He just dribbles and tries to curl it with his right foot. And people have now figured it out. And now people are bodying him because they realize he has no physicality. And the refs aren't buying.
He's a 5'6" little 14-year-old out there running around.
Yeah, also he got caught diving a few times last season, so the refs aren't giving him any leeway. They're keeping a sharp eye on him. And I just feel like I said, he needs a reset. He needs to be taking out the team. Now we got Cavani, put Rashford back on the left, and just have him sit from the reserves bench or something.
Yeah, exactly. And now I ask you this. So, being Ole and being Frank Lampard, who do you think is more happy about this result? I know this was a popular question in the press conference after the game, but I just want to hear your thoughts on who should walk away from this game more happy.
I feel like Frank Lampard should, because his side played like shit, but they still didn't lose the game. They kept a clean sheet while playing horrible. He had maybe 2 or 3 players who played great, and they were all defensive players. And I feel like Ole, he feels hard done by. Man United deserved to win that game. Rashford had 2 great chances. The one in the 91st minute when he curled it from outside the box. Mendy made an amazing save. He got a huge hand on that. And Mendy just made that because he had the adrenaline, the momentum from all the saves he made earlier in the game. So I feel like Ole feels hard done by and Lampard feels lucky. So I'd have to go with Lampard to answer that question.
I totally agree with you. If I'm Ole, I could tell by the subs that he put in towards the end of that game, but that he was going all out for those 3 points there towards the end. No one could tell me he wasn't trying to get those 3 points.
Yeah,
so
he put Greenwood on for McTominay.
Yeah, exactly. He's out there trying to win these games, and this sucks that, it looked like Man U was slated to have a comeback and win this game. They were looking really strong there in the last 20, 30 minutes. They were attacking hard. A great save by Mendy on that Rashford shot, That was, if Rashford scores that goal, but that's an insane goal. That's going all around Twitter and Instagram and everything. It's a great goal. A great offensive performance from Manchester United in this one. Just a better performance by Mendy.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can put that there to finish it.
Yeah, that's a good explanation of it.
So now we're going to go into the fantasy players of the week. The player, that we've been on about pretty much this whole podcast. Edouard Mendy, clean sheet, multiple saves, and got the man of the match against Manchester United. He's my top fantasy player of the week. Just a great all-out, just a great performance from Mendy. To really show, does Rashford score those if Kepa's in goal?
I think so. I think for sure the second one, because Kepa, he struggles to see through traffic, and Mendy didn't see that ball till last second. He still flew across his goal to get a hand on it.
He did, yeah, no, but this performance, I didn't know a lot about the bloke when they signed him, but now I know what he's capable of, especially when you put him in there in a high caliber game against a team like Manchester United, and he shows up like that. I don't expect to see a lot of Kepa now after that performance.
Yeah, especially by the looks of it, seeing him play, it looks like he has a long wingspan. His arms are long. He moves from the center of the goal to the corners really fast. He's a really solid goalie. He almost scored an own goal. One thing I can critique him on, he made a back pass and almost scored it on himself. But other than that, he almost played flawless that game.
Mm-hmm. Great performance. Danny Ings also, fantasy player of the week. 2 assists against Everton. He's great in that attack for Southampton. He was great this season. He's been great this season. He was great last season. He's still doing it. Danny Ings is your prototypical English forward. He does the dirty work. He can body people. He might not be the biggest, but he gets the job done, and he does what he needs to do.
Yeah, assist. They're usually not part of his game. Usually more the guy getting the assist. But he, like you said, he did anything he needed for his team. Picked up 2 assists, helped Southampton get the 2 goals. And
Yeah.
some might say they robbed us 3 points off Everton. So all due to him
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah. No, it's nice to see that he's adding, but that to his game. But the assist to his arsenal that he's already a great scorer. It's nice to see that he can also bag in the assist as well.
Would it be harsh to call him a Walmart Harry Kane?
Oof. I don't know if that's more harsh to him or more harsh to Harry Kane. But I mean, if anyone calls him that, I'm not gonna say you're wrong, because he does produce like Harry Kane. He's just not on a team as well known as Harry Kane.
Yeah, and he lacks some of like the individual bit of brilliance that Harry Kane has, but
well, like obviously, I don't think there's another striker in the league that has the individual brilliance that Harry Kane possesses.
yeah. But like I feel like
yeah.
a pure goal scoring, they are kind of comparable. With Harry Kane being better, of course, but Danny Ings could be like a comparable.
And with that being said, I would agree with your comparison of him being a Walmart Harry Kane. I just feel like maybe it's a little disrespectful to Kane, who's going to shatter Premier League records with his goal scoring. Next up, Kasper Schmeichel, 4 saves and a clean sheet against Arsenal. Just putting in that work like his dad used to do back in the day. Great clean sheet against Arsenal. Great win for them. Good game for Leicester. I love Kasper Schmeichel.
Schmeichel, the most underrated goalie of our generation.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. I've been thinking that for a while. Great name, great player. He hasn't really been on a high key team, but he has the quality to where he could be on one of those top teams.
I always wondered why Chelsea didn't buy him before they got Mendy. I felt like that was a perfect signing for them to make, but they never like bit the bullet on it.
Yeah, dude, I think he would be amazing at Chelsea. He wouldn't be that expensive. At least I don't think he'd be that expensive. He gets the job done week in and week out. He doesn't make many errors. He's a great. I don't think correct me if I'm wrong, but he's great at stopping the penalty too.
Yeah, he's like 40% like save rate on penalties, which is insane.
Yeah, he's a great penalty saver. He gets the job done between the sticks. Great. Just a goalkeeper version of Danny Ings. And next player of the week, we got the last one today. Wilfried Zaha, player I've been high on, for forever. I've always thought this guy was good. I'm still kind of confused how he's still at Crystal Palace.
Yeah, they're holding him hostage pretty much.
Exactly. I don't know how he hasn't gotten out of there or how he hasn't forced his way out of there. I don't know if he likes the place. He must like the place if he hasn't forced his way out by now. But a goal and an assist against Fulham. He's been putting in the work this season. Just a great player. Great player. A great wide midfielder, winger, whatever you want to call him. Great player. Love him.
Yeah, he has that passion for the badge too. Even though he comes from the Man United Academy, he loves Crystal Palace. Like you said, he'll do anything to get him a goal and assist. He'll take hard challenges. He'll stick up for his teammates. And then he produces too. He's always on the score sheet. Every time they win, he has a goal or an assist, and he's the heart and soul of that team.
Yeah, he's a great player. All right, that's gonna round up the fantasy players of the week. Now we're gonna turn our attention to Champions League football. Now it's coming up tomorrow and on the Wednesday. Games of the week. We got Borussia Mönchengladbach at home against Real Madrid. Do you think Real Madrid can bounce back after losing to Shakhtar in Game 1?
I feel like they will, just purely off the momentum and adrenaline they're going to get off the El Clasico victory. It's more mental and psychological, I think, for Real Madrid. And now that they're coming off a really high positive, I feel like they're going to continue cruising for a bit until they hit a negative. And then I feel like they're a streaky team, so when they hit a positive, they'll ride it down, and when they hit a negative, they'll ride the negative out. So I do see them winning this one.
Yeah, I fully expect Real Madrid to bounce back in this one, especially after winning the El Clasico, the biggest game they have, or the biggest games they have every season. Next game, Atalanta against Ajax. Ajax is coming off a 13-0 win in the league. 13-0. Their striker, Traore, 5 goals and 3 assists, insane. Don't know how he only got a 9.9 on FotMob. You can look on Twitter. To see what people had to say about that. But yeah. What do you expect in this one?
I expect this to be an interesting game. I feel like Atalanta should be favorited, but Ajax, they prove they can score goals, and Atalanta, they're also a goal-scoring machine. So I'm expecting a lot of goals, but with my luck, and every time I expect a lot of goals, I get a 0-0. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, I expected a goal frenzy to end in the Chelsea against Sevilla match, but we all know, but that one ended in a 0-0 draw. Next game, Juventus against Barcelona. Ronaldo's rumored to be coming back and playing in this one. How much do you think he's being pressured to come back and play in this game, especially with Juventus not in the best form at the moment?
I feel like he needs to come back to save their season, if I'm being honest. They're dropping points. Morata's not looking dangerous. Kulusevski scoring a goal here and there, but they don't have that fear factor that Ronaldo does. Like when Ronaldo plays, teams put 2 center backs on him, and then that gives space for his teammates. But now that he's not there, the other teams are playing equal defense on everyone, and Juventus is struggling.
Yeah. No. So, who do you think the favorite is in this one on paper?
Oof, I feel like it's Juventus, but barely. I would not bet on this game at all because it could go either way. Both teams are streaky. Both teams have great players. It just depends on that day which players show up and which ones don't.
Yeah, it's pretty much just gonna be a game time. But as soon as I see the lineups, I think that's the only time that I'm gonna be able to be like, oh, I think I have a thought of who's gonna win, because this game is a total toss up for me, a total toss up. The other marquee game, Manchester United at home against RB Leipzig. Manchester United comes off of a huge win against PSG, but they've seemed to have PSG's number in the Champions League lately. They've been able to win big games at PSG through Marcus Rashford winning the pen last year, and this year he drives in the 86th or 82nd minute, hits it off the post and in. Who's the favorite in this one?
I feel like Man United will be listed as the favorite, but Leipzig, they made the semifinals of the Champions League last year for a reason. They're really good. They have Upamecano in the back, who's a solid center back. They have a lot of balance in their team. They have a great manager, one of the most highly touted managers in Europe. And I feel like it'll be a really good game. Both teams will have to be at their best to get 3 points here.
Yeah. And so back to Manchester United. Is Pogba going to start or Van de Beek going to start? Because it's kind of crazy having players of that quality, and then you have to choose between them. It's got to be really hard on Ole.
Well, Ole's making it even harder on himself because he's starting neither one of them, so then he has to pick which one to get more time off the bench, which I don't really understand. I guess McTominay and Fred, they're in good form, but I'm not the biggest fan of McTominay, if I'm being honest. I prefer Fred in the CDM position.
Yeah.
And this one, I would personally start... I would start both of them and go with a diamond. Fuck it. 4-4-2 diamond. Martial, Rashford up top, Bruno in behind. Both of them at center mids, and then Fred or Matic as a CDM.
Yeah, no, I've loved how Fred's been playing lately. He's been a wall back there, he's been all over the pitch. He just lacks that I know he's been playing as a holding midfielder for us, but I really wish he had more of an offense to his game. I just don't feel like any opposition is afraid when he has the ball on his feet anywhere near the penalty box. He just doesn't have that offensive awareness that I would like out of a holding midfielder. Even though he's there to intercept the ball and stop those counterattacks and those attacks, I just wish he was able to add that offense to his game.
Yeah, Fred also scares me because his first touch is really questionable sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
But the last couple games has been looking good, so hopefully he keeps that up. Because if he has a bad touch as a CDM, the way Man United plays, it'll be a counterattack and possibly a goal conceded. So he really needs to stay focused if he wants to keep his spot.
Mm-hmm. And then, to round out this topic, what's your thoughts on the Van de Beek, with the whole thing that's going on with him being on the bench in that PSG game? when he did come to Man U, I wasn't expecting him to slide into the lineup straight away, but I wasn't expecting him not to have a start by now.
Yeah, it's a really weird situation because when we signed him, I thought he was gonna be Pogba's like bench player for Pogba and replace Pogba here and there. But now that Pogba's not playing and he's not playing, to me it shows that Ole doesn't have full trust in him. And maybe Ole didn't even want to buy him. I'm thinking this was more of an Ed Woodward signing. I feel like Ole wanted a Grealish, and
Yeah.
Woodward was like, no, Van de Beek's a cheaper Grealish, even though they're kind of different players. So I feel like it's hard for Ole to play him because he doesn't fancy him enough yet.
Yeah, no, this just kind of like it comes off to me as Ole just being really confused up to what he wants to do in that midfield. Cuz like Tomine and Fred, they have been on good form as of late, but everyone knows that Van de Beek is way better than both of them.
Yeah.
It's just coming down to form and how he's quote unquote punishing his players by not starting them, which I think is total bullshit. If he wants to keep his job this whole season, he needs to put the strongest team out there that he can. And the tactics he used against PSG were flawless. They worked amazing, putting Alex Telles there at the left wing, even though he didn't play the full game there. But it just really makes me think that he's confused and he doesn't know what he wants out of this midfield yet.
Yeah, he's having a tough time finding out how to balance the midfield because Van de Beek, Pogba, and Bruno, they're all similar players. They want to attack. They don't really want to play defense. But you need like at least one CDM in with those players to like give them balance so they can attack. But Fred and McTominay are both playing good, and I just feel like he doesn't want to bench either one of them, so he's sacrificing Pogba and Van de Beek instead.
Yeah, and like I would love to play four midfielders. I would love to play Bruno, Donny Van de Beek, Pogba, and Fred. But I just feel like Fred, he doesn't have the height and the physicality that I totally want out of a holding midfielder. Like I like Matic's. I like his size, his physicality. He just lacks that speed and that he just lacks that explosiveness that Fred has a little bit more of.
Yeah.
So now we're done talking about Man U. We did that for a while. Is there anything else you want to talk about that?
Nah, I think we covered pretty much everything we needed on that one.
All right, now we're gonna go into the UCL Pick'em games. We're just gonna list we're gonna list the games, and we're just gonna say how we think they're gonna go, how we predict they're gonna go. First one, we got Lokomotiv Moscow at home against Bayern Munich. I expect Bayern to come out firing on this one. Maybe being away from home is gonna make it a little hard to play in Moscow, but I still expect Bayern to win this one 3-0, maybe 3-1.
Yeah, those were the two score lines I was debating in between because I feel like they might rest some players, but I still feel like it'll be a pretty easy victory for Bayern.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I fully expect Bayern to win, but this one I don't expect anything else. Atletico Madrid at home against RB Salzburg. I think RB Salzburg is a really underrated team, but they're not in Atletico Madrid. I see a 2-1 or 2-0 scoreline here for Atletico.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-0 Atletico. They need to bounce back after that thrashing they suffered from Bayern last week, and this is a perfect game for them to bounce back in.
Yeah. Next game, Shakhtar Donetsk against Inter Milan. How do you think this one's going to fare?
This might be a draw, but Inter they drew their first game, and they can't afford to draw this one as well, so I'm going to go Inter 3, Shakhtar 2.
Yeah, no, I think Inter is going to have to come out hot. But they're going to have to after drawing their first game, as you just said. I did like how Shakhtar did play against Real Madrid, though, but they knew what they were doing. They knew how to neutralize their attack, and they won that one 3-2. I could see this one also going 3-2 for Shakhtar, but I think just the circumstance for Inter Milan, it's really gonna push them, and I think Inter Milan wins this one 2-1, 2-0. Next game, Borussia Mönchengladbach against Real Madrid. How do you think this one's gonna go?
Real Madrid 3, Mönchengladbach 1.
You think 3-1 Real Madrid in this one?
It'll be like a 2-1 game, and then I think Real will get one late on the counter when Mönchengladbach's going all-out attack.
Yeah, I agree exactly with that. I was going to say 2-1, and then you brought up that all-out attack comment. I get that. Yeah, I'm going to say 2-1 or 3-1 in this one as well. I just don't see Mönchengladbach being able to keep up with Real Madrid. Even though I think they also are another underrated team in the Champions League this year, up there with Salzburg, but I just don't see them being able to keep up. Next game, Porto at home against Olympiacos. Porto, a really good team. I think they're well coached. They got some great players on that side. I think they're too much for Olympiacos. I think they win this one 2-1 or 3-0.
Yeah, I like that 2-1 score for this one. 2-1 for Porto.
2-1 score for that one. All right, the next game, the Battle of the M's, Marseille against Manchester City. Manchester City hasn't been in the best form lately, as you can tell. To Marseille, some would say that's the Farmers League they're in. But I think Marseille has a decent chance of winning this game. I could see an upset coming out of this one. I think this is the game that I could see being an upset. Like last week, I was saying the Chelsea against Sevilla game could be an upset, and then I said the Real Madrid against the Shakhtar game could be an upset. I'm gonna say this one has a chance to be an upset. I could see Marseille win this one 2-1. Just Manchester City hasn't been showing me the best form lately.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a 2-2. I think Man City will drop points, but I don't think they'll drop all 3 points in this one.
Nice to see we're on the same page about that game. Next game. Sorry. Battle of the A's, Atalanta against Ajax. This I think is going to be a really solid matchup. It should be a good game, at least on paper. I can see this one to being a 2-2 or a 1-1 draw. I think it just depends on who can get on that score sheet first and just get the momentum early on in the game and just carry that out. I'm going to say 2-2 in this one.
I'm going to go with a little wild prediction here. I'm going to go 4-2 for Atlanta. I really want there to be a lot of goals. I'm not really confident there being a lot of goals, but both teams have wonderful attacks, and I really hope it happens.
Yeah. No, Atalanta's a really fun team to watch. Liverpool at home against Midtjylland. I totally butchered that. But, Liverpool lost Van Dijk. They're not at their full strength, obviously. I still think they come out with the win here, and they come out pretty comfortably. I see a 3-1, 3-0 scoreline here for Liverpool.
Yeah, I'm going to say 4-0 for Liverpool.
4-0. All right, yeah. No, I definitely expect it to be a comfortable win for them. Next game, FC Krasnodar against Chelsea. Chelsea on the road in the Champions League. They've been wishy-washy form this season. I could see this one being a draw, but I think Chelsea are going to have that fight in them. I could see Chelsea winning this one 2-0 or 2-1.
Yeah, I was going to go 3-1 for Chelsea in this one.
3-1 for Chelsea. This next game, Sevilla at home against Rennes. Sevilla able to get that draw against Chelsea in their first game of the UCL. They look decent. They're able to neutralize that attack. I see Sevilla winning this one, but I think this is going to be a low-scoring game just because Sevilla didn't really show me that much going forward in that game against Chelsea. I could see this one being a 1-0 or a 2-1 scoreline here for Sevilla.
Yeah, I was going to go 2-0 for Sevilla in this one.
All right, and the next game, Borussia Dortmund at home against St. Petersburg. Sorry, it's hard for me to say that name. But Dortmund, they're good. I just don't think they're at that good yet. But I still see them winning this game. I think it could be a really close one, but I see them winning this one 2-0 or 2-1.
This one's really hard for me to predict since it could go either way. But I feel like Dortmund, they're going to bounce back and win this one. I'm going to go 2-1.
All right, 2-1 on that one. And the next game, Club Brugge at home against Lazio. This has upset written all over it for me.
You think so?
I am high up on Lazio. I think they were a really solid team. Like, maybe if Lazio weren't in the form they're in, I would probably call an upset on this one. But I got Lazio winning this one 3-0.
Yeah, I was going to go 3-1 for Lazio on this one. They looked really great last week. And I feel like they're going to continue rolling.
Yeah, no, I kind of had them as my dark horse in the UCL this season, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
They're my certified dark horse. I'm saying it now. Next game, Farron Kavaros versus Dynamo Kiev. Farron Kavaros looked terrible in their first game. Don't really expect them to do much against Dynamo Kiev. I think it's going to be closer than the last game they had. But I still see Dynamo Kiev winning 2-1 or 3-1.
Yeah, I see 3-1 for Kiev in this one. Ferenc Savros versus Barca. If it wasn't for that red card, they wouldn't even had a shot on target, in my opinion. So.
Yeah, no, that was an absolute joke of a game. Like, it's crazy how they're in it. They just don't have the quality. they're pretty much just fighting for that third spot in their group just to get into that Europa League, which is respectable for a team of their caliber. Next game, probably one of the biggest games of the weekend. Of the weekend of the group stage games. Juventus at home against Barcelona. I think this can be a back and forth game. Both teams not in the best form. I see Juve winning this one 2-1 or 3-2 at home to Barca.
I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. I feel like neither team has a trustable defense. Both teams leak goals in. And I feel like 2-2 will be a fair scoreline, and I feel like that's how the game will reflect the stats in this one.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see that one ending up in a draw as well. Manchester United at home against RB Leipzig. We already went off about this, so we talked about it for a while. I got Man U winning this one 2-1. I don't know if they can hold a clean sheet against Leipzig, even at home. They haven't been playing the best at home. But I see Man United winning 2-1, maybe 3-1, but I think I see 2-1 more clearly.
Yeah, 2-1's a good scoreline in my opinion, too, for Man United. Leipzig is no joke. They might not be a big team on paper, but there's really talented players, young talent in that team. And they always play with house money, so anything can happen this one, but I'm hoping Man United edges the 2-1 out.
Yeah, me too. PSG at home against Istanbul Başakşehir. PSG not in the best form, but didn't play the best against Man U. I think Man U could have and probably should have won that game by more. If I'm being honest, I still see PSG as the way superior team in this matchup. I got them winning 2-1 or even 3-0 at home against Istanbul.
Yeah, I think PSG. I think their goal scorers are going to explode in this game. So I'm going to go PSG 4, Istanbul 1.
All right. Well, we just went through all the UCL games tomorrow and the next day. We're going to be keeping a close eye on those and enjoying those games. I got the next 2 days off of work, so but not a lot else for me to do besides to binge some UCL group stage games. So thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode number 17. Episode number 20 is coming up. That's kind of a dope milestone.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's going to be dope to hit 20.
Time's flying for sure.
Yeah, time is flying. The season's flying. We're about 5 or 6 games in now. I think we're game week maybe 7 now in England or something like that. But yeah, the season's flying. It's crazy. A lot of drama, but a lot of fake news with the Pogba stuff going on and all that. Just thank you for tuning in. Like and subscribe if you want to. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this on anything else, just watch it if you like listening to us talk about soccer. But thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next week with some more soccer news coming up for you.
Peace.
Be safe and have a good one.